This is the welcome everyone. This is Bank School District's February board meeting. Thank you for coming today. This is not our regularly scheduled time. If we could all rise and do our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now move on to our roll call. If you could please stay present after I call the name. Carissa? Present. Will? Leslie? Present. Dan? Present. And present. Okay. Public Welcome Commission. Bank School District Board of Directors welcome the public to our February regular business meeting. The board appreciates your participation in the education of our students and welcomes your continued engagement. On 1.5, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. Now we'll move on to 1.6, student leadership.
All right. Good evening, everyone. For those who don't remember or know me, I'm Travis Easters, the current ASB president, and Ashley Shuggy would be with me here today, but she's currently not with me. So second semester just started. Lots going on. A lot of people are moving classes, and they're allowed to do that so in the first 2 weeks. With sports, boys basketball has a total of record of 18-3, currently undefeated in the league. Girls basketball is 9-1 in the league, and a total of 20-1 overall games. Robotics, first place per usual. You guys might get sick of me saying that, but all right. And with wrestling, we have Serenity Moody and Maddie Russell taking second and third at regionals. And for boys regional duels, Banks took first place. We also have 9 first seeds going into state. For events, the only one, to the best of my knowledge, was Winter Formal. And it was a record breaker. It was a total of 246 tickets sold. I believe the most we had before that was around 200, 220. So I'm really proud of that. It was masquerade theme over at Tiger, Sean Gardner dancing. And it went really well. That's all I gotta say about that. Any questions?
I just want to say thank you for joining us at the event on Saturday.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Right. I'm gonna we're just gonna get it so we can put your presentation up on the screen, so just give us one little step into this. Laura and Leanne for recognitions regarding our staff doing some development around our character development implementation. Send this out real fast. All right, I'll be in just a second. On your way is. It's not over. Thank you. Unless you have everything from Brian go straight to trash and that stuff.
If you don't follow it.
There.
So before we get started, we kind of, we brought a few like little goodies and takeaways for you guys. Oh, great. So if you want to go, this is the Bible class, but yeah, we brought these back. Thank you. Have your choice. What are you? All right, so if you want to go to the first slide, there was a few of us who had the opportunity and the privilege to attend the Character Strong National Conference in Texas over the course of January 21st. So it was a really quick trip, it was a really quick turnaround, but we're all really glad that we got to go and experience, you know, not just the trip, but what Character Strong has to offer, and really kind of get immersive in like their culture and their approach to social emotional learning. And we're excited to bring back some of our key takeaways. So there was a group of 6 of us that went, 2 from the elementary, 2 from the middle school, and 2 from the high school. We got to go to Austin, so that was pretty cool. And I think we're just gonna go through this. We structured it as each of us drafting up our key takeaways from the event, like what we learned and what we're hoping to bring back to our school and our district. So my key takeaways was just around the approach that they have on clarity and developing clarity around your mission and vision and around what you're hoping to achieve. And a part of that is using intentionality in everything that we're doing and planning and saying and delivering to students, and how that helps us develop competence through our work with kids and through our work with the social emotional curriculum that Character Strong has to offer. I got to listen to one of the co-founders, John Moreland, talk, and he's just a really inspirational speaker, and I really learned a lot from him just about the importance of intentionality. That's something that I've been focusing a lot on in my like professional approach this year, so it was really cool to hear that echoed by somebody who I really respect. And he was also speaking about leading through a servant leadership approach, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but I think it was really eye-opening to me, and also just something that I thought that I could easily put in place into my daily practice to better lead the teachers and the students that I work with on a daily basis.
I was really happy to get to go to this conference to learn more about the philosophy behind the curriculum that we're currently using, to hear from the creators where this all started from. And I attended the same breakout session that Leanne did. John Moreland, one of the co-founders of Character Strong, he led a breakout session for school leaders. And from that session, one of the most important takeaways I took away from that was how to build like a really strong tier 1 social emotional curriculum in your building, which is kind of the place where all of our schools are at right now. We're on our first year of implementing it district-wide. And so the 4 ingredients is what we call them for a strong tier 1 system is relationships, empowerment, teaching and learning, and the environment. And in that same section, we talked a lot about how our current system that we have for our schools with PBIS, how that goes together with our social emotional curriculum, because that was something that was a little bit confusing for me, is how do we combine these 2 systems that we have in place together. They're both multi-tiered systems of support, but they focus on different things. And he made it really, really clear for us that they go together. You have to have both of them. And the PBI system works from the outside in to create an environment that's stable and predictable and routine with really clear expectations for kids. And then the Character Strong curriculum works from the inside out to give them the individual skills that they need on a daily basis. So those were some of my highlights from the conference.
Lindsay is one of our high school counselors, and she attended, there was a secondary breakout session, but also a school counseling breakout session. And what she really appreciated the most was the community building that we did in teams. The whole conference, the way it was designed, the way that we experienced it is designed to be how students can experience Character Strong if it's fully incorporated in a classroom. So it was really cool to do all of the team building activities that a student could do if you structured your class kind of according to your suggestions. So she really likes that. She likes being able to connect with school counselors from around the country. That was another really cool thing. We got to learn about how things are going in Oklahoma and Washington and Mississippi and Connecticut and California and Texas. It was really, really cool to hear that the challenges that we're facing are not just our challenges, and the successes we're seeing are not just our successes. So that was really neat. And she also really appreciated one of the other co-founders just wrote a book called Deep Kindness that we purchased a few copies of and we're excited to share out. But just this idea that kindness can be something intentional that can really make, big, long-lasting impacts in not only individuals' lives, but in communities. So she was excited to learn about how to utilize that intentionally in the high school setting.
And Cole was one of our high school representatives. He's been teaching these lessons at the high school level. And he really liked getting to collaborate with other educators all across the country to find out how they're implementing things in their schools. And the biggest takeaway that he had was how important it is to have buy-in from all staff when it comes to implementing a new system like this. And if you really want it to work and see change, everyone needs to be on board. It's like all hands on deck need to be ready to take on this new initiative.
I think the next one is Megan. Megan's our health teacher and real teacher in the middle school. So she's teaching these lessons, I think 6 times a day on Wednesdays. So she's probably our most like immersed teacher in doing this. And what she really appreciated was, again, the collaboration and the opportunity to meet with people from other schools, but also listening to Dr. Clayton Cook. He is another one of the co-founders, and he is like an implementation and change science type of guy. And she really took away some of his ideas around reframing the questions and specific strategies that you can put in place in your classroom, just to have like a stronger classroom community and a more cohesive classroom community. She's also on multiple teams at the middle school. So she was looking forward to learning more about these tier 2 strategies that's supporting kids that are having more challenges than the rest, and how we can implement character strong into supporting those.
And then finally, we have Tasha, who is a first grade teacher at our school. And she attended a breakout session about multi-tiered systems of support, and specifically looking at like what comes after our tier 1 curriculum that all the students get. And Character Strong is coming out with a tier 2 curriculum at the end of April. And so there was a lot of talk about like, what's this new curriculum coming out, and how do we know how to identify students that are ready for like more intervention when it comes to social emotional skills, and then like what's the process for that. And so she took away sort of this 4 attributes that you need to adhere to make sure that your tier 1 is strong, so that you can accurately identify who is really lacking in certain skills. And it's talking about making sure you have adherence to the curriculum and giving good quality, engaging lessons, giving the right dosage, which means that you're giving the right amount each day, and then feedback from supervisors and collaboration amongst teams.
We are all really excited. In addition to this, we have a team that's been going to some county-wide implementation support meetings through the ESD. And our next meeting with them in March, they're sending Dr. Clayton Cook to meet with schools individually to talk about where we are in our implementation and change process and what supports Character Strong can offer us going forward. So we're all really, really excited about that. And then we just wanted to include, we were able to have one evening in Austin where we weren't at the conference. So we all decided to go to the state capitol. That was really, really cool. It's in a public building, so I just included some pictures of our trip. Here's some pictures of our group. The state capitol is really tall, and I'm a little afraid of heights, so that's a nice picture of everyone that was not too afraid to go up to the 3rd story. Take it from my camera 2 stories down, because I was afraid to even look up. The outside of the building was really pretty. The state seal. Anyways, it was just really interesting, and we just wanted to express our gratitude to the district and everybody that is supporting the Character Strong curriculum, like within the district, and also just for the opportunity for us to go and learn and collaborate with people from around the country on some work that we all think is really important. Any questions?
Oh, I'm just happy that you guys were able to go. And be great to see how that impacts. Yeah, thanks for going.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Make sure you all thank you.
Okay, move on to audience comments. The meeting will now be open to receive public comments. The board appreciates hearing the members sharing information during public comment. Board will listen and possibly ask clarifying questions, but generally will not comment on the information we hear from the audience. However, following the meeting, the chair, vice chair, and superintendent will together determine the appropriate response. The response may be in a public way, a private way, or the issue will be added to a future board meeting or work session agenda. Please note that the speaker will have 5 minutes to express their thoughts. And do you have any public comments?
None presented or sent or trade.
Okay, move on to presentations.
I think there's just my superintendent update. I'm gonna put up on your screens and then just. It's fine. This one won't be projected on the screen. I'll just summarize sort of briefly. I just want to give an update on a few of the committees that we have going. One, our long range facilities planning team. We are on track and we'll be submitting in a day the TAP grants, which will help us with assessments, long range planning and seismic capacity. Just remembering or reminding the board, the goal is to work with an architect and other engineers, et cetera, to determine what the needs of this campus are all the way out to 2040. And develop a process for essentially how do we fund that, right? How do we get to that in appropriate ways? Special thanks to Sue Bear, Kristen Carter, and Judy Bogroff will be co-facilitating that process, and getting help from a lot of other folks from the world, Rob Kramer are also serving on that committee. Just additionally, the cost of facilities updates is gone up considerably, even from the time that you all were presented your first SS3 budget, which previous administration was giving you about 2 years ago, to the point that the amount that was allocated for the elementary HVAC won't come really even close to a replacement. We may be able to do some repairs with it, which I'm just gonna ask for a second from the back burner. We put a project summary to a federal program to see if you can get a federal grant to actually pay for a complete replacement. It is nearing end of life, so a full replacement would certainly be the ultimately most cost effective way to go about the whole project, though obviously can be the largest initial price tag. The way this grant works, we have to provide that summary right away, and then if we're invited to apply, the board will have to take action to approve us applying. So we'll put that in front of you the time comes. Second is our equity audit advisory team. Again, the goal of that team is to provide a report on our outcomes, on the outcomes of our district. And I certainly have no doubt that team will be able to do that. I just wanted to reach that out at the last meeting, which then, Chris and Dan for being on that committee. But I just wanted to highlight for me, at least the last meeting we spent in the last 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, having some pretty robust discussion, just kind of getting some, I guess, questions and some thoughts and just sort of various approaches to dialogue around student success and equitable outcomes, starting to surface those out. By no means is that conversation finished, so I didn't walk away with real tangible next steps, but I thought the dialogue was productive and fruitful, and I appreciated those 2 members. Then just for the minutes, reminder to equity committee members here that we are going to be a little bit of an early adopter of a requirement that's coming out that one person from the equity advisory team is required to serve on the district budget committee. Technically, that will be a state law until 2025, but we're going to see if we can implement that early. So I'll be reaching out to those members to see if one of them would like to serve on our budget committee. You'll hear more about that. Our instructional leadership, we made it through our first set of instructional rounds. And remember, just briefly trying to make the analogy that instructional rounds are every bit as sophisticated as medical rounds that we see doctors doing. And we had our first kind of test at them. We'll be doing another set in mid to late February, and we'll continue going that throughout the year and years to come, making that part of the process. I'm going to skip the strategic plans. We have a separate update for that. So if you are following along on your computer, don't need to look at that one right now. Same with the integrated guidance application. We have a separate section in our agenda for that. We'll have in 15 minutes, so we'll put a pause on that. I didn't want to give updates to the state school fund. Super thankful to Trapper, think he decided the school board meeting maybe wasn't for him tonight after he gave his comments. So, I'll catch him in the halls, but thanks to Trapper and thanks to, Ron and Leslie. We had the opportunity to work with some local legislators, and really just help them understand where schools are at right now, where we're having successes, and where we're having challenges. We were able to do that last Saturday. I say that in the context of the state school fund budget, Governor Kotek's budget, which really is the starting point for what the, Ways and Means Committee will look into. Did have a state school fund of $9.9 billion, which is 400 million more than maybe the most, I guess, conservative, or kind of helping like the opposite of conservative, the lowest roll-up cost that was suggested, and it's 400 million below probably the most, the highest of what the roll-up cost estimates were. So, great place to start. I think, we're excited for the comments the governor made. She sent out an email to all the teachers in the state today, just thanking them for their service, and we want to do that as well. So we'll keep you updated on the budget. As we get closer to budget season, we'll just have to land on a number that we begin to estimate from. Historically speaking, the state school fund has come in 200 million above what the governor originally budgets. I don't know if that, of course, be the same this year. So, but just give you an idea of the ballpark that we'll be starting with that. Any questions with that? And then the next reports actually are just me again on strategic planning and guidance. But any questions on the other stuff for now? So the integrated guidance application, we talked about this quite a bit in the work session, so I'm not going to go all the way back through that. But just for the minute, the integrated guidance application is the way that we will access 6 different state programs, which of course are tied to 6 different state funds. It's a little bit over $1 million for the Grant School District. The money that we have now, we access most of those funds already. So this is not like $1 million of new money. But the process has to be repeated every 4 years, and so this is just the second time that the school district has gone through that process. But what we will do is, as of Friday, our application, next Friday, the 17th, our application will be on the website, and then you'll receive a full formal presentation. And then in that interim time, we'll be getting feedback from some consultants and some people that work with districts our size that don't have grant writers and things like that. In March, you'll get a presentation at your board meeting on the final draft. And then we have to allow for public comment specifically on that application. So we'll set up a way so folks know that they can, specifically be commenting about that. Following that, we'll ask you to approve the application. We'll send it to the state. Very likely they'll have edits for us. And we'll get those edits done and then kind of publish our final. So I just want to get that first thing to the record. I think we're going to talk about in work session. So it's good stuff. There's good funding, so it provides a lot of our CTE opportunity, funds a lot of our counselors, and really does do some of those additional things that the state school fund just doesn't approach. Any questions on integrated guidance? No action even in any of these. Our strategic plan update, just again, a shout out to that strategic plan steering committee and to all over 500 teachers, staff members, and community members that participated in giving us feedback for it. We're ready to present a formal draft of the themes to the board, which then will initiate action by the district to create a district-wide scorecard. It'll be that transparent way of us measuring our outcomes. And then it'll help leadership define what our actions are. Of course, our actions influencing the strategic plan, thereby influencing those outcomes. So what you'll see is we'll have community members coming in to be involved with that presentation, and then that'll happen in March. We'll also ask you to approve it. It's not really a policy or anything. It's not official outside the context of our district. We'll just do it as a resolution. I just want to get that kind of officially. Questions?
No, but that's really exciting.
Good. I think so too. I'm really excited. And I'm super thankful for our community members. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about some specific words, and we really did try to balance and ask ourselves, are we just like wordsmithing here, or, words matter? Are we choosing correctly? I think the team did a great job of producing something that will help us align our actions. Really excited. All right. Not to hear from me for a while. Report from Dustin. Dustin's up with, we talked a lot about the budget for next year. Dustin's actually talking about this year's budget instead. So on your screens, you'll see the spreadsheet that is in the packet.
Yeah, so good evening to the board, to Mr. Sika, everyone here, and everyone virtually. So this is just a routine update for you, financial report. Just to give you another look at how we're looking, as Brian mentioned, in this year's budget. I updated this through the end of January. So just a few days ago, it's pretty current. And I didn't see any big surprises from the last one like this you saw a couple months ago. The general fund as a whole, looking at the different categories of salaries and benefits and purchase services, all seem to be pretty much in line with what I would have expected the budget to be this time of year. We received the bulk of our property taxes from the county in November and December. And the state school fund, we should see the first adjustment based on the 10-1 enrollment this month. It's still kind of rolling forward from the May estimate. So when that happens, we are expecting that bump from increased enrollment than what our May estimate had been. So things are looking good at the moment. Just giving you an opportunity to ask any questions, if there's anything you're wanting to get more information on.
Timber revenue, looks like that. Is that where you expected it at?
Yes and no. Timber revenue is always a little unpredictable, and then it gets deducted from
And then it's taken away.
the school fund anyway. So we'll just kind of wait and see on what happens with that. But we did get the first significant payment on that in December. So
Executive quarters. That.
it's kind of sporadic.
Okay.
I feel like.
Sure.
But it depends on the year. Yeah, it's whenever it happens. I don't know if it's predictable that way, but there should be at least 2 or 3 more disbursements this year. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Yep, we have an item on the agenda. We'll have a motion for the consent agenda. Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. That was unanimous.
What I want to just do a brief discussion on again, we talked about in the work session, but just to make sure everyone's clear. Previously, we have approved district calendar for 23-24 in the February meeting. I asked that we move that to the March meeting so that we get just a little bit more feedback from both associations and from staff members. So you can expect it to be updated calendar with some changes, we have some feedback, but just expect it there in March. Appreciate your willingness to move that in. So with 60 there on the budget committee members, just making sure we're clear on the process. Starting tomorrow, the district will start advertising, they'll be on the website, newsletters, some things like that. All 5 Luckily, all 5 board members don't need to be nominated for the budget committee, you all are already on it. And then we need 5 additional community members, and like I said in my equity update, we'll ask 1 member from the equity committee to be on there. If, anticipate this, but if for some reason no one yet wants to, if we're not out of compliance in the town 2025. But I can certainly anticipate it. And then what we will do though is they will be approved, appointed to the committee in the March meeting, April, well, in the March meeting. I'm about to give more of the timetable, but y'all actually have to approve the budget. And then so I won't go into those details just yet. Now the setback.
Yeah, seven action items, we're gonna table the budget.
But this
No,
is
no, budget, no, this is one that we do want. Okay, so, do I have a motion on the budget?
I make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 budget calendar.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. That's the answer.
And then just one, the only comment I want to make sure we had on that is a reminder to folks, there is a new date, I guess, that you haven't seen in the past. We will do a budget 101. So we'll just bring all budget committee members in for a little out-of-state school fund work and what the role of the budget committee is and all that stuff. And then, all the other timelines are the same, all of that. I just wanted to make sure we had it.
That takes us to, 8, board comments. Yeah.
Just a couple of things tonight. The first is, I've been approached by a couple of people, wanting to volunteer and kind of, there's been kind of a lot of talk about it. People don't really know, especially coming out of COVID, like, are there COVID restrictions and things like that, right now with wanting to volunteer, but also what are the requirements? So I think, and I was looking on the website and it's not really clear on the volunteer page, like what the requirements are for each type of meeting that might happen or each type of volunteer situation. So I think we definitely do some clarification on that for the website. I think that would make it a lot better for people. I know Kristen was kind of approached by this as well. So the other thing is I was just reading some stuff and I came across this article that the Surgeon General had just said that children shouldn't be on social media. I mean, he didn't give an exact age of what age children should be on it. And then I just kind of started digging a little bit further into this. He's not actually suggesting that children are banned from social media. What he's actually trying to advocate for is some sort of education on social media and how to interpret social media, maybe good practice, and things like that. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, is that part of our Character Strong program as well? Do we do anything with kind of looking at social media and kind of younger ages? So I know it can be really healthy, but it can also be pretty detrimental.
You know, I don't think in Character Strong, I know in our, like in middle school health curriculum, there's some components like around, it's a little dated though at this point, because it'll be around bullying and harassment, and then we'll talk about cyberbullying and like using online resources safely and responsibly, but I think social media has changed so much. Even in the past 3 years, but in the past 7 or 8 years for sure.
Yeah.
I think we talk about it with kids, but it's probably more informal than.
I didn't know if there should be something more formalized or something we should, try to do. Just to help kids navigate through some of this.
I think we all need some help with that, I totally agree. We can certainly look at it as a team, when we think about sort of the like state standards idea, really aren't, and so, what would be really appropriate, you've heard, like Ben and Jacob talk about the advisory program, that'd be something extremely appropriate, have lessons like that in our advisory program, it's something that helps with.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for everyone for being here, and I really appreciate what we just brought up about the
safe use of technology. I have a friend who several years ago she would go and do trainings, for schools, for classrooms that would talk exactly to that, right? Like, how do we, and I think advisory is great, but it's for older kids, so how do we get this into the littles? Because they've got access and you know what's going on. So I think that's definitely something we have that in minutes that we can keep looking at, moving forward. And then, yeah, if we could get, I want to second that, clarification around volunteers. I know there was, oh, maybe, can we ask you that?
And that's-
Let's talk about it, because I know the PTO meetings weren't able to be held here, for administrators, building. And so people were concerned about that, and so what is the policy now for folks that maybe are on that?
So, back that a little bit here. So let's start with volunteers that are going to be like in contact with their kids or something that we would. The way I think the law reads is provide a good service. So kind of thing, you know, a lot of times we use our volunteers because we normally look at it before we find out. So, anyone that fall into that category doing something still falls under Oregon statute that says they can be vaccinated or have religious or medical attention. And we are obligated to provide accommodations if they do have a religious or medical exception. There are current accommodations that access that access. So they're able to participate, provide access and access. As far as people coming into our space, again, as long as they're not providing good or service, which they have to give that organization's, their own policy. So they can come in and use our space without having to, have their own code of policies unless they are working directly with us. On a school block, that's where our where we have to start following.
So that, I think that is that clarification piece,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
that like
exactly.
folks coming in here, right, that's obviously not something that we're any of monitoring, so yeah, we have that
And,
clarification.
so, but no one here would require, they're not providing a good service, or parent teacher conferences, they're not providing a good service. When they did something that, I know that lost.
And that makes sense. I think we just need, the website is fantastic.
Yeah, it's still got, no, that's a good, that's a good time, absolutely. And we're still, you know, I check legislative, agenda every day for new bills, and I think we're at 2,000, but there's not one right now that has the changes that.
Thank you. I just want to clarify that in a second, what you're saying. And then one other thing I just want to say to, Leanne and Laura, thank you so much. I'm so happy that we could send you folks to the conference in Texas. Hopefully you got a little warm. Little but that's what those kind of trainings are all about, is like inspiring and, you know, revitalizing you and bringing you back with all of this, new inspiration to bring to our district. And, I was preparing a paper, and one of the resources that I just recently looked at was the American Academy of Pediatrics and American Psychological Association, or Association of Psychiatry, and I think the American Association of Children's Hospitals have all like come together to declare a child mental health crisis. And that was in 2022. So that is what we are facing right now. And I just think it's really important that we remember that schools are the front lines of this, right? And we know that, so the work that you are doing is like, it's just so important. It's so near and dear to my heart. So however, support this initiative, this is how we have to change the culture of school. We know that school climate in terms of just how students experience their educational environment is definitely connected to their academic performance and their mental health. Right, so how we shift this climate and how we all these committees and we're really looking at moving the district forward. I'm just really excited about the things that are happening because kids, they really need us.
Well, I'm just glad to see all of you. I'm glad we can be in a country where we can have school boards and public schools and I just want to thank our counselors. This is National Counselors Week. And so if you know a counselor or you see one, let them know how appreciated we are. Also, I want to tell you on Saturday, the FAA is going to have their chicken dinner and bingo night. And this goes to support our FFA kids to go to leadership classes and summits. And, I just think it's a good thing. It is a wonderful glimpse of our community. Most of our community, a lot of our community goes, and it's really a fun time. So I would encourage you to go and support that if you can. At Schlegel Hall. 6 o'clock, I think, is when it starts. Mhm.
Thank you, Leslie. And thank you, board members, community, one of the things I was able to do, Trish Van Cooper, who worked at the high school, for us have kids that go through, and sophomore year, she always has, right at that age, we're going to start work, mock interviews, and the senior class, you know, they were unfortunate where they didn't get that, and so I was one of the mock interviewers that got to spend the afternoon with some of our seniors. And well, one of the comments at the end when they left, one of the comments from the interviewers made this. It said, basically, giving faith in another generation. The seniors did so well. And one of the things I think that goes into Character Strong, we've talked about soft skills, how you approach people, how you critique papers, giving feedback, taking feedback. Just as we were talking with individuals, just amazing stuff. So kudos to our teachers, to parents. This senior class, this amazing. So, and thank you, Trish, for not forgetting about it. Very much appreciated. We still recover from the pandemic. With that, I will go ahead and adjourn. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everybody.